Yo, picture this for a second. It's August. You're at your cabin with the family. The main water line in the area bursts. It's a bad break. They're saying 5 days to fix it. Nearest town is a 40-minute drive. And by lunchtime, every store there is wiped clean of bottled water. You can't make coffee. You can't even rinse a dish. Or here's another one. Summer. You and a buddy went into the mountains for the weekend. Day 3, and the creek that was supposed to be on your route is bone dry. Your car is still a full day's hike away. Canteen's empty. Or the scenario nobody likes to talk about. Something big happens, infrastructure failure, natural disaster, take your pick, and the tap just doesn't work anymore. Not temporarily, at all. And in every single one of those situations, you've got the same question running through your head: where the hell do I get water? I'm about to show you a thing that costs 15 bucks, and in any of those scenarios, could be the thing that saves you. And the wild part of this whole story is that we, as a civilization, just forgot this. Thousands of years ago, people in the mountains of Peru and the deserts of the Middle East knew how to do what we've completely forgotten. Not because they were smarter than us, they just didn't have a tap to turn on. In this video, I'm going through 3 things. First, how to literally pull gallons of clean fresh water out of the air around you. No electricity, no pumps, none of that. Second, how big farming operations in Chile and Morocco are doing this right now to irrigate entire fields without spending $1 on water infrastructure. And third, how you actually build a working version of this in your backyard in one free afternoon. If you stick with me to the end, you walk away with a skill that's gonna come in handy at some point in your life. Guaranteed. And on the day it does, you won't be the one standing in line at the store hoping there's a bottle left. Look, you've seen this magic your entire life, you just never thought about it. A cold glass sweating on a hot day, that's water from the air. Your car covered in dew first thing in the morning, water from the air. A spider web glittering with tiny droplets at sunrise, same thing. There's always water in the atmosphere, as vapor. Invisible. And you want to know how much is up there? Scientists estimate more than 3 quadrillion gallons at any given moment. 3 quadrillion! That's a 3 with 15 zeros after it. More than every river on Earth combined, just floating above our heads. Right now, while you're watching this video. To get to it, you need one simple piece of physics, the dew point. That's the temperature where air can't hold its water vapor anymore and the vapor turns into droplets. That's it. No magic. From there, all you've got to do is put a cold enough surface in the right spot. One quick note before we go further, this works above freezing. Once you drop below 32 degrees, you don't get dew, you get frost. The vapor goes straight to ice on your mesh. And ice doesn't drip into a trough. So our season is late spring through early fall. Sub-zero temps need a different approach, and that's a topic for another video. Now picture this. You own a farm in one of the driest places on the planet. Rain shows up once a year, and even that's barely a token. What do you do about irrigation? Option 1, drill a deep well. That's tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes hundreds. Option 2, run pipes from the nearest water source miles away, also millions. Option 3, truck the water in. Bleeding money every single day, forever. And then this engineer walks in and goes, let's just put big nets above the fields. That's it. Sounds insane, but it works. And it works at industrial scale. In Morocco, up in the Anti-Atlas Mountains, there's a project called Boutmesguida. Huge mesh panels on the slopes pull in about 1,500 gallons of water a day. Local villages and farms run on it. No wells, no plumbing, no electricity. In Chile, there's a village called Falda Verde, and this one's even better. Since 2001, 11 fog collectors there have been irrigating commercial aloe vera farms. More than 2 decades running. Mesh, tank, drip irrigation. Done. Same country, near a town called Huasco, they've put up industrial-scale fog towers. Those things pull anywhere from 2,500 to 13,000 gallons of water a day. That's enough to keep an entire farming community running. And you know what this taught me? When you understand the physics, suddenly your backyard, your garden, your greenhouse has access to a solution other people are paying millions for. You're doing the same thing for 15 bucks and 1 free afternoon. Alright, let's get into it. The parts list. And I want to be straight with you, this is genuinely everything you need. Shade cloth mesh, 5 feet by 5 feet. Any hardware store or garden center, 6 or 7 bucks. Get the one with a tight weave closer to a window screen than to one of those volleyball court fences. This part is critical because the mesh is doing all the real work here. 4 sections of 3/4-inch PVC pipe for the frame. $1.50, $2 max. Zip ties. You've got these in a drawer somewhere already. Don't buy them. A section of plastic gutter to funnel the water into one place. $4 tops. Couple of bricks or big rocks to prop the thing at the right angle. Total $10 to $15 depending on where you live and what you've already got lying around. The only tool you need is something to cut PVC. And here's a tip, any decent hardware store will cut the pipe for you on the spot, free. Just tell them the length. Frame first. Connect the 4 sections of PVC into a square, roughly 4 by 4 feet. Lock the corners with zip ties, boom, frame's done. No glue, no screws, zip ties hold it just fine. I've tested this myself. Now stretch the mesh across the frame, and here's where one detail actually changes everything. Pull it tight. I mean drum skin tight. Zero sag, zero pockets. And you know why? Sagging mesh means a little puddle sitting on top. A puddle on top means the sun comes up in the morning and evaporates everything you collected overnight. Bye-bye pint of water. Tight mesh works like a slide. Every droplet rolls right down and drips straight into the gutter. Zip ties every 8 inches along every edge. Sounds tedious, but skip this and the whole thing doesn't work. The number one mistake people make on their first build, laying the thing flat on the ground. Don't, ever. You want a tilt of about 15 to 30 degrees. Lean it against the wall or prop it on 2 stakes like a slanted tent. Gravity's doing half the work in this system. Set the gutter right under the lower edge of the mesh. Want to run a tube from there to a storage jug? Go for it. Want to just let it drip into the gutter and pour it out yourself in the morning? Also fine. Where you put it, this is the part most people underestimate. They shouldn't. Face it into the wind. Not sideways, not away from it, into it. The air needs to pass through the mesh, not around it. How do you figure out which way the wind comes from at your place? Walk out into the yard at sunset, stand there for a minute with your eyes closed. Your skin will tell you. Get it at least 1.5 feet off the ground. Air right at ground level is warmer and drier. A bit higher up, it's more humid. That's just physics. And here's the one, most people forget position it so the morning sun doesn't hit it first thing. Otherwise all the dew you spent the night collecting evaporates before you even get out there to grab it. Set it up at sunset. Show up at dawn. That's the whole routine. Morning came around. Gutter had just over a pint in it. 16 ounces. You're going to say, okay, that's not much. But run the math. 5 nights of that is almost a gallon. A month of that is over 4 gallons. From one small mesh. In completely average conditions. That's not much anymore. Now, scenario 2. You live near the coast, or in a river valley, or anywhere fog rolls in regularly in the mornings. People are pulling a pint to a quart from this exact same setup in a single night. Easy. Scale the mesh up to 8 by 8 feet, and now you're talking serious daily volume, family-sized. How much clean water does a person actually need per day? Half a gallon to a gallon for drinking and cooking. Family of 4, at least a couple of gallons. And it hits you. You can cover all of that with something you put together in your backyard in half a day. No paperwork, no meters, no asking permission. Okay, you've got the water. Question is, can you just pour it in a glass and drink it? Atmospheric water starts off pretty clean. It hasn't touched the ground, hasn't run through rusty pipes, hasn't filtered through soil. Bacteria, agricultural, runoff, sediment, almost none of it. That's a huge advantage over, say, water from a stream. But if you live in a city, near a major highway, or close to any industrial stuff, particulates from the air can settle on the mesh. Lead from old exhaust, dust, soot. Best to filter it. DIY filter takes 5 minutes and costs $4 tops. Grab a regular plastic bottle, cut the bottom off, flip it upside down so the neck points down. Then, layer materials inside. Bottom layer cotton. Above that activated charcoal. You can grab it at any pet store with a fish section, or even at a pharmacy. Pennies. Then a layer of fine sand. Then another layer of cotton on top. Pour the water in from the top, and what drips out the bottom is already filtered. Want to be 100% sure? Boil it after filtering, or add 1 drop of plain unscented household bleach per gallon and wait 30 minutes. Done. Real talk, at that point, this water is cleaner than what comes out of the tap in a lot of old apartment buildings. That's the dangerous part. As long as everything works, everything's fine. But the day something breaks, a burst pipe, a shutoff, an evacuation, whatever it is, the person who doesn't know how to pull water from air becomes the person sitting around waiting for help. The person who does know, whole different story. That's a person who doesn't depend on anyone. $15. One free afternoon. And a skill that I promise you're going to use someday. Warm. Encouraging. So my ask to you right now is simple. Don't wait for a disaster to try this. Build it this weekend. Set it up Saturday night, check it Sunday morning. And if you're into it, drop a comment with how much water you pulled on your first try. Let's see who gets the most. Big love. I'm off to put the next video together. Take care of yourselves. New videos every week. Subscribe to Smart Cookie. Stay sharp.